Welcome to the Complete Creative Podcast for passionate creatives who want to live well, create on purpose, and feel satisfied in every way. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I am sitting in my office, which I might not even have for that much longer. We are selling our house here in Austin, and I don't know if I've mentioned that before. And we're actually going to go live in Airbnbs and travel around. It's going to be super fun. At the time I'm recording this, I'm wearing my hat. I'm like ready to go because my sister is flying into town and she's here to celebrate my 50th birthday with me. I turned 50 a few days ago, and she's here to hang out with me for the weekend and go to my birthday party, which is in a few days. It's going to be super fun. Before that happens, I wanted to record an episode for you. It's coming out a little late. I'm posting on Fridays. I'm sharing on Fridays because I like that. And it's Friday today. I'm recording this and releasing it same day because yesterday I felt terrible. I don't know what it was. I thought I was getting sick, but today I feel a lot better. So we'll see what happens. So today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is how to make your dreams into reality. And I know that sounds cheesy, but what it really is like we have an idea in our heads. And how do we take the idea and make it into something that's real? Like make it real, because that's what life is, right? Like I have an idea of something I want to cook, and then I go get all the things, and then I make it real and I eat it. Like it's that. It's just that so much more of life is bigger than that. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is what do we do with all those ideas? Like we have ideas swirling around us all of the time. Hopefully, I might talk about that later, but we have ideas that come to us. Where do we put those? Do you act on every single idea that comes to you? Every single thought of something that sounds like, ooh, I kind of want to do that, or I should do that. Like, where does that go? So I'm going to talk about what I do, and it's called my someday maybe list. And I got this from, there's a man named David Allen, and he created something years and years and years ago called Getting Things Done. And I actually mostly follow his system, and my life has changed since I followed that system. He tells you to create a someday maybe list, and this is your space that houses all of your ideas. And so that's what I have. And so I wanted to read some of my ideas that have come to me over the years that are just sitting in here. And this is actually, I haven't gone through them in like a long time. It says last edited September of 2024, which is way too long. It's time for me to go over this again. So I'm putting that on my list of things that I might possibly want to schedule. Okay, so I wrote, learn wildlife photography. I think I want to do that. I was like thinking I wanted to do that more. Learn affinity publisher. Yeah, I definitely want to do that, but it's in my someday maybe list because I haven't scheduled it yet. Um, make a home ebook. I didn't do that. I haven't done that. So that was about my impossible goal that I will talk about in just a little bit, actually. I did a solo exhibition called Home, and I've been playing with the idea of turning that into an ebook. Wild Woman Photography Retreat in Costa Rica. That sounds fun, but that's not going to be a thing yet. I don't know what I want to do with that. Try cyanotype. That's a kind of like sun painting, and that could be fun. All right. So then I have a whole list of things to do that I might want to do in my home, clean out my kitchen. This is all like replace the glass in my cabinets. This is all not going to happen because I'm selling my house now. So there's a different list. Personal, scan photos and organized anniversary trip. We haven't done that yet. We had our 30th anniversary in December. We just haven't scheduled that yet. Learn how to paint rocks. I don't even know what that means anymore. So that can probably go off my list. Learn how to paint rocks. I don't know. Maybe I still want to do that. I'm going to think about it. Let's see, I have a whole list of new business cards. Maybe I don't want to do that anymore. Um, Workshops, all these things that I might want to do that come to my head, I put them in here and I actually have them all in categories. And so, what I'm telling you is that you don't have to act on everything that you think of, but it's important, I think, to have a space where you honor the idea and write it down. I think some of these things we can easily dismiss. So you might want to do that. But if you're still thinking about it, I think it's a great idea to have a place where you can house all your ideas and then revisit them and see if any are bubbling to the surface. That is the someday maybe list. I think the point is to have some place where you corral all your ideas. Okay, but what is the problem here? There's going to be a gap between the idea, putting it on the list, and actually doing the idea that comes to you. So I'll tell you, I have an idea right now that I'm moving from my someday maybe list, and actually it never got on there because I haven't visited that in a long time. I'm moving from my someday maybe list into my like to do. There is something that I'm going to work on this summer. And so I've got to create what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the project for it in my notes app and then figure out how to make that happen. Before we talk about the reality of like getting them done, all these, turning an idea into something that's real. Oh, great. My husband's mowing now. There's all this stuff happening. I'm just going to keep recording while he's mowing because we're having an open house tomorrow and I'm not stopping him. So if you can hear that, oh well. So for us as creative people, and especially for us as creative people, there can be multiple reasons that we don't take an idea from the idea phase into something that actually exists. And I wanted to go over some of those before I talk about the how to of the rest of it. Okay. Number one, perfection. Oh my gosh, I so get stuck in this. In fact, I may be stuck in this right now. Maybe slightly. I'm talking myself out of it. Okay, so there's that idea of like the perfect plan. Like we have to have the perfect plan. He's like right outside my door. The other part of the perfectionist thinking that we have to have everything planned out, like just so in advance. Like it has to all be planned. We have to know the how and like make the list and all of the things. That's not true. And also, in addition to that, like as an addendum to the plan, thinking that if we don't have the plan that everything's going to fall apart. Like if we don't have the perfect plan or the how to, it all is going to fall apart. So it's almost like we don't start because we don't know the how. The truth is that you're never going to know the how to get something done because it's not it's going to be probably a little messy. That's not going to be perfect. You're never going to know the how of how it gets finished until it's done. So another reason we get stuck in the like planning, in the thinking, in the heady part, the idea is it's like analysis paralysis, right? Researching instead of creating. Learn affinity publisher. There is going to be a time where I'm going to want to do a lot of research on YouTube, but then I'm actually going to have to stop watching YouTube and go and learn it. And that's going to feel very uncomfortable because it's a new thing. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I have some idea and I have resources, but it's probably going to feel a little sticky. Okay. So another part of analysis paralysis, getting overwhelmed by like too many options. We collect all the information. We're like, I don't know where to go next. It's too much. I don't know which right one. That's part of the perfection. There's perfection in there too. Also, convincing yourself you need just a little more information. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I've gathered enough information yet to do the work. What if I haven't? Surprise, you probably have and you probably haven't. You'll find out when you start. So, another one is fear of commitment. And this is actually something that I have struggled with. The planning feels safer than starting. I never wanted to commit to big things because I wasn't sure if I was going to follow through. Mhm. I didn't want to commit to something that I didn't think I was going to do. And so you do things like worry about choosing the wrong direction. Another thing that's part of the fear of commitment is keeping all of our options open. I just want to keep all my options open before I go down this one path and commit myself to the thing. And how we get something done is committing to the thing. Okay, another reason we don't is I'm just going to say imposter syndrome, but I don't actually like that term. I have a spicy take on imposter syndrome. I don't think it exists. I don't like to talk about it. I'm going to do an episode on it. I think by saying it's a syndrome, it's like we're sick. We're not sick. 1,000%. But when we think about a big project or something like an idea that we might want to make real, questions might come up for us like, who am I to do this big project? And you're going to say, yeah, that's imposter syndrome. I don't want to think about it like that. I just want to address the question, who am I to do this big project? Or it could look like feeling like you need to have some sort of a certification or credential or even permission. I give you permission now. You can literally do whatever you want. There's no certification that you probably need for the thing that you want to do. If there is, you already know what that is and you can go do that. Also, you might not believe you're ready yet. And I just want to tell you that if you have the idea and you feel it's time, it's a timing thing. If you feel it's time, then you're ready. You're 1,000% ready. Even if you feel scared, even if you don't feel like you have enough information, even if all of those things, you're ready because no one ever feels ready. The last one I want to talk about, there's so many more reasons. Maybe you've thought of one that I haven't brought up here, but it's like the shiny object thing. So I have all these ideas that I've put in my someday maybe list, and I'm like, oh, I could do that one. You heard it when I was talking about it. I was like, oh, I could do that one. That would be fun. Oh, I could do this one. Oh, I could do this one. It always feels like a shiny object when a new idea comes to you. And so sometimes it's way more fun to do the new shiny object than keep going on the thing that you're doing. And so what happens is we start all these different things and we don't finish. You get excited about the new ideas while you're still working on the one, and all of a sudden the one doesn't feel so special anymore. Oh, maybe I won't finish that one. What? Keep going. That's why I have the someday maybe list. Cause when I have the shiny thing, new shiny thing come to me, I go, oh, how amazing. And I hold it for a minute and I put it on the list. I'm like, this seems like I'm working on this one right now. It used to be a shiny object. Now it's going to be a thing. And this new one is going to go on the list because I'm not doing that new thing until that one's done. Part of the shiny object thing is that the planning becomes your creative outlet versus like the actual creation. What we want to do is actually make stuff real, whether it's something tangible or something not. Like we want it to feel real. And so we want to stop planning and just start doing. Okay, so let's talk about what the doing part looks like. I have a 3-step process, whatever. It feels like more, but I like to keep it simple. Okay, so number one is get specific. What is it that you want to do? For me, I'm actually in this process of taking an idea that came to me. I'm going to do an ebook. Actually, let me back up. I want to do a photography project about that expresses my love of the Texas landscape, especially since I'm leaving. There's a couple of parks here that I really love that I've spent some time in, and they're special to me. And the project is called A Fond Farewell. And I'm like, how do I make that into something? Do I just show a bunch of photos? I actually think I want to write. So, what does that look like? So, I have this idea, A Fond Farewell. And now I'm going to want to get specific on what that actually is. So, I'm going to set aside time to actually think about what that project actually is, because what could happen is I'm just like, a fond farewell, that sounds nice, maybe someday. That's why I'm taking it off my maybe someday list, my mental one, because it's not actually on the list, and putting it in the space where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to turn this into something real. What would I like that to look like? I'm going to turn that into something specific. When you're doing this work, you're going to want to get very specific, not just like, I want to feel better. Get specific. A year ago, my body was feeling a little extra fluffy. And I'm like, by the time I'm 50, I want to fit into size 4 pants. Okay, I know that sounds vain, but whatever. I knew what that would come with. I would have more energy. I would feel better in my clothes. And guess what? More size 4 pants. That wasn't easy. And I still have more work to do. I'd like to fit into different size 4 pants. This is like big size 4, whatever. That is a very specific thing. I want to fit into size 4 pants. So I want to say here, getting specific, it makes it more real in your mind because you can visualize it better. I'm reading this book called Creative Visualization, and I love using that idea in my projects because I spend a lot of time visualizing what they look like because I get specific. By visualizing, it gives you more clarity about what the thing is. All right, number 2 is once you get specific, rather than staying stuck in perfection or doing all the research or blah, 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 all the excuses that you're going to want to make at that point, once you've gotten specific, you're going to take the next smallest step. What is the next smallest step forward? Now that I have my fond farewell idea, I'm going to want to set aside some time to do some research. I actually already did this. I had a conversation with ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, can you walk me through? This is why AI is so great. Can you walk me through this idea? Like, let's have a conversation about it. I have ChatGPT and Claude. I use them both for different reasons. Okay. If I don't like how ChatGPT is talking with me about something, I move over to Claude. Or I could talk with a friend about it, or I might do both and I might take walks. 2 episodes ago, I did one on walking. I might have a walk. I might have a lot of walks and really consider what that's going to look like. And then I'm going to take the next smallest step forward. I may not have it fully planned out, but I do know that I need to edit photos. So I'm going to start editing my photos and culling the project down. So I have a whole pile of photos in a collection in my Lightroom. If you're a photographer, you know what Lightroom is. That's called a fond farewell. And I put all of the photos in there that I think I'm going to want to use, and I'm going to start editing them or culling through them. I'm going to want to edit them all eventually. And so I'm just going to start editing them. So I know that's my next smallest step. And you can do next smallest steps simultaneously. So simultaneously, I'm thinking, I'm like, ooh, I think I want to do an ebook. Do I want it to be paid or free? I think I want to do free. Okay, now how would that look like? So I'm going to want to set aside some time to go, how would I deliver that? And editing the photos. And then this is where the messy middle happens because I'm not quite sure which photos I'm going to use. I don't have any particular order that I'm like editing them in. I just pull some up as I feel like it. And the other thing I'm going to want to do is set a deadline for myself because that will actually create urgency. So let me go backwards. In the specifics, you might create a deadline like I did with my size 4 by my 50th birthday a year ago. What do I need to be doing for that? That creates some urgency, not oh no, I'm panicked because it's not there yet. It's like, oh, I need to get moving on this because it's going to take me a while. And I don't want to like take drugs or I want to be able to like eat treats at Christmas, that kind of stuff. I'm going to want to set a deadline for this project. I'm thinking like September 1st, like end of the summer. I'll figure that out. Okay. So now I know that's another small step for me to do to get specific. One last thing about the next smallest step. You just heard me talk about all the small steps. Every single idea that becomes reality is all made up of small steps. Even the big step, something that feels like a big step, there's lots of small things in there. So it doesn't matter if it feels like a small step. You're like, I don't know if I could do that small step. It doesn't matter because it's all small steps. So you just take one and that will give you momentum towards the next one. That is why we take the small step to move past resistance and get a little bit of momentum so we can start moving into the making it real part. Okay, number 3, keep going until it's done, y'all. Keep going. Don't stop. Oh, I did enough editing. I'm done. Because I could see myself having a lot of fun with this fond farewell project. I could see myself having a lot of fun doing the editing because I love that. But I haven't done a lot of this kind of project. And so I could see my brain going, well, that was fun. Maybe we could just leave it at that. Maybe this is another reason why you get specific is so you don't talk yourself out of stuff while you're in the middle of it. So I'm on to myself. I could see myself going, maybe I just post some photos on Instagram and call it a day. No, I want it to feel more meaningful than that. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it. And that is why we tell ourselves we just keep going. We just keep going until it's done. Oh, wait, that's not where I stop. I'm not just posting on Instagram. This is the end goal. I'm going to post them on Instagram, but I'm also going to put it in a format that I'm going to be really proud of. Like I'm going to keep going. And the other thing I want to say is all of these reasons where we get stuck in the planning, they can come up at any time in the middle of getting the thing done to keep you from finishing, right? The perfection thing. It might keep us from starting, but it also might keep us from finishing. You might get stuck. You're like, I don't know how to do that thing that I thought I was going to be able to do. And now I have to go and like research forever. Okay, but sometimes we just have to try things and see what happens. All of these things might come up. The who am I to do this thing might come up in the middle. I bet that's going to happen to me. I see it because I thought it earlier before. I was like, who am I to do this? I'm like, me. I'm the person that does this. It's cool. I am the person that creates a free ebook PDF. I'm like 95%. Every time I talk about it, I like get closer to the decision out of my photos from this thing. Mhm. Let's talk about when it gets hard because you want to keep going until it's finished. So there's a few things. It is the messy middle and all of those things that are going to come up, those imposter syndrome. Anyway, feeling like, who am I to be doing this? Getting stuck in the research, procrastinating for different reasons. That's all going to come up and you can move past them, but notice when they do. That's the biggest thing. You're going to want to notice when they do. Also, I've done projects where I'm like, oh, I actually don't want the end goal. I want to pivot over here. And it's really important to see that when you are in the middle of something, when you might need to make a change, when it's important for you to make a change because the thing that you thought you wanted to be real doesn't actually align with who you are, your values, what you want to really be creating for your life, for your business, for your creative work, any of that. Oh, I need to pivot. I would be careful when you do that. Be very intentional about the pivoting, but it's okay. Like it's okay to change your mind. But how are you going to do that? Or are you just going to drop it totally and why? Be very clear, have some clarity about what's next. You're also going to want to distinguish between resistance and like when you're kind of getting distracted and going maybe down a path that's not taking you towards what you want to be creating, like what idea you want to make real. You want to notice that, feel the resistance and check in. Do I really want to be creating that? And where do I see this path taking me? So, last, I just want to tell you about my own personal impossible goal. I'm just going to do this quickly. In December of 2019, I created an impossible goal to have my own solo exhibition. I literally was like a beginner like nature photographer. I really didn't know that much. I did a lot of research. Like I did all of these steps. The research, I bought new gear. I had decided that the year of 2020 would be me creating work and then hosting my own solo exhibition in my home or somewhere. I did it in my home. But I did all of those things. I made a very clear goal, X amount of images, 1 year, have a show. I was like, I have no idea how that's going to work. I literally don't know how to work my camera. I didn't at all. But I kept going. I was like, oh, this is the next step. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, let me go learn this. And sometimes I would get off track and come back. I did a lot of walking. I did a lot of bad photography. I did a lot of good photography too. I like surprised myself. But I kept on going, even when I felt like, why am I here on this solo road trip to New Mexico that I felt like I was supposed to do to make this happen? But like, why am I here? I don't know what I'm doing. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I had to keep reminding myself, keep going. And then I made it happen. March in 2021, I put it all together. It was like the most beautiful thing to have bought a printer, printed my photos, displayed them for friends and family to come see. And I got to talk about for the very first time my own, like my creative work with people standing in front of it, like a real tangible thing. It was the most incredible thing. And this is why we do everything that we do, is because we think we're going to feel a certain way. Like I wanted to feel proud of myself. I wanted to feel so good about what the next steps might be for me in becoming who I am or being more me. I've always wanted to be a photographer. I always wanted to walk around with a camera. And now I do. And the thing is that here's the little mind trick, is that I wanted to do the photography work so I could be a photographer. And what I learned is I needed to be the photographer so I could do the work. We're always going to want to be that person that does the thing to get us there. It doesn't magically happen when we create it. We always create it first in our minds, and then it becomes real. And that is the really cool part, is that you get to feel the success of making it real before it ever happens, like tangibly. That is so, so cool. Okay, so some things that you can make real. A book. I mean, that's like a tangible thing, right? My new ebook. I have relationship goals. You can like some of these things aren't tangible. It's going to be like a way you feel, or a relationship that you build, something you do in a relationship. Money goals, yeah, totally. I have those. Business goals, yeah, I have those too. I would love for a ton of you to come join me in my summertime group program called Make It Real, where we do all this work, where we work together to keep us focused on making something real. I help talk you through some of the resistance, the procrastination, how you can actually make something real that you've been really dying to do. I'll put a link to it in this episode description. I would love to have you join if that's something that you want to do. Body goals. I told you about my personal body goal. Yeah, if there's something physical that you want to accomplish for yourself, whether it's like energy for more hiking, or you want to lose 20 pounds, or you, better yet, I'm at this weight and I want to be at this weight. That's how I like to think about it. Okay. I also love helping people make time for their art or their creative work. Like you might say, I want more time for this creative work, and I want to do X amount more time because this is the thing that I want to be doing. And we just create it. Like it's like magic. We create it out of like thin air. It's magical. There's so many things that you can decide. Only you know what ideas are coming to you and what you want to execute on. That's it for me. I got to go pick up my sister from the airport. This was really fun. I hope that you create a place to honor all of the ideas that come to you. Maybe create a someday maybe list. If you are working on something that's big, or there's an idea and you're not sure, message me. I would love to hear about it. All right, that is it. I'm going to go pick up my sister and have fun making your ideas into something real. See you next time. Bye.